So today, let's talk about you who's in a relationship or you are attracted to someone else who's not your partner. All right. First of all, I want you to know that that's absolutely normal and there's nothing wrong with you being attracted to other people who are not your partner. Today, I'll tell you how to deal with those kind of attractions and why you're feeling that way and, what to do, rather than feeling guilty. The first thing you need to know is that when you fall in love with someone, there's something that's attracted you to that person. And then you start a relationship and you're like, oh my God, they are the absolute perfect people in your world. You can't seem to find anyone who is more attractive than they are at the moment. You absolutely adore them, you love them, and then you say yes to them and you start a relationship with them. And then a few weeks, a few months, a few years down the line, maybe you see other people and you're like, oh, that guy is actually fine. Like, oh, that lady is beautiful. Like you start having a crush on someone else and you start, fantasizing about someone else who's not your partner. It's absolutely normal. It is human to feel that way, to be in a relationship, to be married to someone and still have like crushes on other people. The problem is that you then run into issues when you act on these feelings of yours rather than just dealing with them. And I'll tell you how to deal with them so that you avoid getting into situations where you are then, cheating on your partner or you are doing what you're not supposed to do. So let's talk about how to deal with multiple attractions to other people when you are in a relationship with someone already, or even when you're married to someone already. Number one is coming to that acceptance that this is actually going on with me. These people are there. They are people that I feel attraction to, even though I am in a relationship with someone else. The next thing you need to do is to set boundaries and stay away from these people. That way you're taking control of the temptation and acting rather than reacting. So how do I mean, or what do I mean by saying set boundaries? So do not stay in places alone with them, for example, where things can go wrong. Do not find yourself in situations where you will yield to the temptation of having to do something with them that you regret later. So just try and take control of the situation and to take control of your feelings and how you act, rather than just putting yourself in a place where you're getting closer and closer to the temptation, and where you then will become likely to do that thing you are trying to avoid. Okay, so just set those boundaries and stay away from those people, even if it means for a period of time, until you get over the feeling that you have, because trust me, it will pass. They are just crushes that you have, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So the reason why I say they are crushes is because you haven't known these people in depth. You need to understand that what you have is a fantasy and a flawless image of your crush, which is a distorted version of reality. Okay? Because you haven't gotten close enough to these people to know how they actually live their daily lives, the kind of things they do. So when you get closer to them, you find out things that you're like, okay, I didn't know. All you see is just like, you see them when they're all beautifully dressed or doing something. They are outside, they are well behaved. So you see like a flawless picture of these people. But once you start living with them, for example, once you know them deeper, you will see and begin to find out certain traits or characteristics. Why am I not able to pronounce this thing? Characteristics, that you do not like, in someone. And that's when your eyes begin to get open that, look, this is actually not 100%. And I'll tell you why you feel that way. It is because attraction or love at first sight is usually not logical. Like you see them and you're like, oh my God, your physical traits are good. You can, you like what you see on the surface. And that's how, attractions happen. It's about what you see on the surface first until you start getting closer to those people to understand their traits, to understand their character and how they behave and how they handle situations. And that's when you can know, oh, well, maybe not. Maybe I can't be with this person. Okay. So it's a crush and it's a pass. And I want you to understand that what you have is a fantasy. You really don't understand those people. You really don't know them. You just love them because you can see them from the outside. And that kind of love, that's not logical, okay? That's not logical. You haven't gone through the process of knowing them deeply enough to even know the things that they are not showing you. Something else that you need to do is to then focus your thoughts on the good and positive traits of your partner. That way, you're taking yourself away from a situation where you're then focused on like, the object of your attraction or of your crush. Do you get what I mean? Like, you then say, oh, well, my partner has this good trait and that good trait, and this is what I love about my partner. You continuously remind yourself of like the good things that you love about your partner, why you were attracted to them in the first place, you know, the positive things in your partner, and that way you can focus on your partner. Like, you can turn that thought pattern of always crushing on your crush to crushing on your partner and recalling their positive trait, because there was a time you crushed on your partner, honestly. There was a time you crushed on your partner. So remind yourself of all their positive traits and all the things, you know, that you love about them, and make that the focus of your attention and the focus of your thoughts rather than, you know, thinking about your crush. The next thing you actually need to do is to understand the reasons for your attraction. Okay, and use the answers to reconnect with your partner. So ask yourself questions like, why do I feel attracted to this person? What emotional needs are your crush fulfilling? Why do you feel that rush of excitement and adrenaline rush, you know, when you see your crush? And how can you use, you know, all of the answers that you get from these questions to recreate those feelings in your relationship and to reconnect with your partner? Because if you feel a certain way towards your crush, it's possible, maybe, I'm not saying that's always the case, it's possible that there's something that is missing in your relationship, which is what is drawing you to that, you know, crush of yours. And if there's really something that's missing, then you need to speak to your partner and say, oh, well, can we do this or can we do that? Also remember to be realistic about your expectations. For example, if you're crushing, you know, on someone who is like 6'5" and your partner is like 4 foot something, expecting that your partner will become tall is unrealistic. Do you get what I mean? That is absolutely unrealistic, okay? So you need to be realistic about the kind of things that you're feeling and how that can be recreated in your relationship. But that's definitely one way to be able to, you know, take attention away from you spending time thinking about your crush or how they make you feel, and bringing that into your relationship. So another question you need to ask yourself is, what were we doing in this relationship before, you know, that we're no longer doing? What killed the spark in the relationship? How can we revive this spark? How can we start doing the things that we stopped doing before? Because there's always like that tendency to say, well, we've been together for a long time, and then you stop caring about certain things that you used to care before about, like in the past or at the start of your relationship, and maybe you've stopped doing those things, and it's time for you to say, look, I need to go back and start doing these things, because that's what, you know, keeps the light on in this relationship. That's, you know, what attracts me to my partner, or what makes my partner attractive to me. You know, start asking yourself general questions about like what went wrong in the relationship, what killed the spark, and how can we revive the fire. So finally, when you find these things that, you know, are no longer happening in your relationship, and that has, you know, killed the spark in your relationship, you need to start talking to your partner then about it. Like, have a conversation with your partner to say, look, we used to do this before, but now we're not doing it again, and I want us to start doing this again because, you know, this is how I feel now in the relationship, and I want us to, you know, to feel connected again. I want us to feel this way, so can we start doing this thing again? Okay, when you become one with somebody, when you are in a relationship with somebody, you should be vulnerable enough to speak to them about what you're going through and what you want in the relationship. And, you know, if you're not getting enough love or enough attention, that's something you want to talk to your partner about and say, look, I don't feel you're giving me enough attention in this relationship, or you used to do these things before that really made me feel excited, and, you know, I felt like it was a spark in our relationship, but we don't do it anymore. You know, is this something I want to start doing? Maybe going out on dates, you know, maybe playing games together, whatever that is for you, and whatever it is in your relationship, you need to then speak to your partner and say, this is how I feel, and this is what I think we should start doing going forward. Either that way, you are able to bring back your relationship into the front and center center of your thoughts and your partner into the front and center of your thoughts, and just taking away attention from your crush and bringing it back into your relationship and making your relationship what you want it to be. Essentially, that is the goal of, you know, being in a relationship, is that, you know, you keep the fire alive, you keep the flame burning, you keep the spark, you know, constantly on, and you both are growing, you are learning together, you're becoming better each day, you know, with being with each other. And I tell you, in no time you will start focusing on your partner and ignoring every other thing that is outside there in the world. When you start working on, you know, your relationship and doing those things to bring back the spark in the relationship, then you will feel that empty space that is making you, you know, feel attracted to other people, because then your partner is now doing, you know, all the things that are making you attracted to that other person. Okay. And one thing I also want you to know, if there's nothing you took out of this video up until this point, one thing I want you to know is that even though feeling attracted to other people when you're in a relationship is normal, it doesn't mean that that feeling should be indulged. Okay. Even though you feel that way, just know that attraction is not always logical. Like I've mentioned in this video earlier on, attraction is not always logical, and I don't want you to go and lose the amazing relationship that you have right now because you think that the grass is greener on the other side. The grass is greener where it is watered. So put in the hard work into your relationship and make that relationship what you want it to be. You don't know that person so well to come to the conclusion that they're better than your partner, and you don't want to lose the amazing relationship that you have. And sometimes you don't know until you lose it, okay? So don't be in that position where you lose something that you absolutely love and someone who you absolutely adore and cherish just because you think there's more for you outside there because you're crushing on somebody else. And I want you to know again, that attraction that you're feeling towards someone who is not your partner, that attraction you're feeling towards your crush is a distorted version of reality. You don't know them deep enough to know their flaws. Nobody is 100% perfect, okay? Not you, not your partner, not your crush. Ta-da! I thought you know that, but you absolutely know it. Okay, so just work on your relationship and know that there is no 100% perfect relationship anywhere in the world. If you, for example, start a relationship with that your crush, down the lane you will see that the spark will probably die at some point, and you also need to revive it. You start seeing the things that you don't like about them, and you then like other things about other people, you know, who are not your crush anymore. Do you get what I mean? Like, you start crushing on new people and the cycle goes on and on like that. But if you keep to these points I've shared with you in this video, then you're sure to be able to handle these things when they come. You're normal and there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, let me know in the comment section, have you been able to deal with like a crush that you had sometime in the past when you were in a relationship, or that you even have now, and how you're dealing with it? Are there other ways to deal with this thing? If you know, definitely share in the comment section. And of course, I want to hear your crush stories. Oh, please let me know. Okay, do not forget to like this video, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course share this video with other people if you absolutely enjoyed it and if you loved everything that I've shared with you. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.